Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYuGiOh, and today I want to talk about archetypes and whether they're good for the game, whether they create a barrier for new players, and whether or not they inhibit creativity in deck making. So let's just start with that one. A lot of people complain about the number of archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! And say that they limit creativity in deck making, but I'm not sure how entirely true that is, because even in the days of like Goat Control and like 2004, 2005, 2006 type formats, there was still one clear best deck, and there was only one or two or three or however many people who came up with that deck list, that everyone else still net decked it. So whether or not there's a whole lot of creativity, because you're still going to be playing the best deck. Dino Rabbit was not technically an archetype, but we knew that deck long before it came to TCG just from watching the OCG, and we just adopted it to our own playstyles here. So there wasn't even there was not a whole lot more creativity in decks without archetypes than there are with archetypes. However, I think that a more serious problem with archetypes is that they create a barrier for new players into the game. And I don't mean like your buddy who's been playing Magic for 10 years and wants to start playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, if he wants to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, he'll research what the meta is, what decks are good. He'll probably find some deck list on the internet, tweak it a little bit, and just order the cards for it. Now, I mean like young kids. Like, I started playing this game when I was 8 years old. And how I played was every week or so, I would save up some allowance and go buy a booster pack. I'd flip through it and I'd see a card. Oh, this looks cool. I'll put it in my deck. And that's how I built my decks. I think that's how most little kids build decks. However, if they open a pack and they see this card only works with Mermail cards, this card only works with Shaddoll cards, it's very unlikely that they're going to pull enough of those cards from that archetype without ordering expensive cards online or just having their parents buy them a crap ton of booster packs. So they're going to pull enough cards from that archetype to make a coherent deck. And that's actually why I quit buying packs briefly when I was like 13. So that was around when Yu-Gi-Oh! GX came out, and I'd sit there and I would pull, this thing only works with Six Samurais, this thing only works with Destiny Heroes, and I couldn't pull anything that I could put in my deck. Like, buying older booster packs, I would pull generic cards or even like just sort of generic cards like Pyramid Turtle, Vampire Lord, stuff that work with zombies. Like, I played zombies a lot when I was a kid, but you can't really do that with a whole lot of archetypes in the game, because you only pull one or two generic cards that aren't even that good, or just too situational even for a kid to use. So I think that that's one of the more serious problems with archetypes, is that it makes it really difficult. And I don't know, obviously, but I don't think a whole lot of little kids really play this game anymore. I think it's mostly based on a competitive, like, 18 to 20, 25 maybe group of people. And maybe that's where Konami wants it, and maybe that's not a problem. But I just think it's kind of sad that this game that used to be, you did not have a childhood if you did not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that's just how it was. Like, you had Pokemon on the Game Boys and you had Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And like, that was like every kid's life. So maybe they're just moving away from that, and maybe that's just where the game's going to end up. But post what you think down below about this, and if you have any opinions, and thumb up the video if you're interested in the discussion. And peace out, YouTube.